All right, guys, I want to go over today's trade. I think we did really well today. We ended up taking two trades, right? First trade I exited around break even. Second trade I re-entered and took the trade, right? What I think I could have done a couple things better today. But again, I want to explain my mindset on why I cut the first trade, which I do think I did the right thing. But if I held it and trusted it and re-entered on where I did re-enter on the trade the second trade I took, we could have made more profit. But again, I want to go over everything, right? So again, let's go over the first trade. So we could see, right? Market open, we have our draws and liquidity, right? We come up, we take out, we had 4-hour highs above that. Let's see. That NASDAQ already took out. ES didn't yet, right? But that ended up coming and taking those out on market open, right? We have these hourly highs above. This hourly high, NASDAQ already took out a while back, but this hourly high right here is this hourly high that we took on market open, right? So we could see during the macro time frame, before the macro opens, I mean, right? Between 9:30 and 9:50, okay? We come sweeping out. Let's draw on liquidity. We form a 5-minute S&T off of it. But again, I usually wait for 5-minute confirmation off of a higher time frame draw on liquidity, right? If that was a 15-minute high, I would have scaled down to the 1-minute time frame and took that entry. But since it was an hourly draw, I wait for 5-minute confirmation, right? As we could see, we break structure on the 5-minute time frame after forming a 5-minute S&T, right? Let's break structure right here, right? But do we break structure over here on ES? No. Right? So ES is still bullish. We have this 5-minute gap down below. We have to break structure still in the 5-minute time frame. I wanted to wait for that 5-minute inverse / 5-minute break of structure for both markets to be correlated. Okay? And as we can see, we're still in the macro, or the macro hasn't opened up, right? Whoa, that was a stutter. We could see price came down. We inversed this fair value gap. We broke structure to the downside. Again, this is a good entry, right? But again, I personally didn't like it because we're in the macro time frame, number one. And number two, we didn't break structure on the 5-minute time frame on ES also. I want both indexes to be correlated. Again, this trade could have played out. There's times where trades like this are going to play out, but I want to wait for that macro time frame to open up, wait for both indexes to be correlated, then I want to take my trade to the downside, right? So as we can see, price ends up coming back up, stopping out these people who entered this trade, right? We re-sweep these highs, we form another 5-minute S&T, okay? So we form another 5-minute S&T off of that hourly high that we already took, right? And we form another 5-minute S&T. Let's see. What was this, 10:05? Nope, 9:45. 9:45. Okay, no, we didn't form another 5-minute S&T off the 5-minute time frame. We formed a 5-minute S&T off of this hourly high, which is up here, right? So we form another 5-minute S&T off this candle closure, okay? The way that I look at this is I want to see price continue in the opposite direction after re-sweeping these highs, right? Just based off of experience, price came back up. If we start getting a bearish reaction off of this after forming another 5-minute S&T, I want to enter this trade. What do we do? This is the first trade I ended up taking, okay? We come down, we re-sweep these highs. I scale down to the 1-minute time frame because what is this now? These are 5-minute highs, right? I'm not sure if they were 15-minute. No, they weren't yet. But these are 5-minute highs, right? We come back up, we sweep those, we form another 5-minute S&T. I scale down to the 1-minute time frame, okay? Scaling down to the 1-minute time frame, we can see we inverse this gap. We don't get a break of structure to the downside yet. I always wait for that break of structure. When do we get that break of structure? When we form this new low, boom. This was my first entry, right off of here. Stop was originally above this high. That's why I entered in with 1 micro. I wish I targeted this hourly low down below, but I really wanted these London session lows. Okay, so what I was looking at, ES is still not bearish on the 5-minute time frame. So what does that show me? That we have the potential to continue higher, but I was predicting that we were going to break structure on the 5-minute time frame. But what did we do? We formed one more retrace to the upside, and we formed a 5-minute SMT from this low, right? The 9:30 low. We swept the 9:30 low, and we usually get a reaction off of that. We can. I thought we were going to continue higher because we're still bullish. We formed a 5-minute SMT. We did form a 5-minute bearish fair value gap, but when we started coming back up to my break-even level right around here, I decided to cut the trade because my stop loss was literally right above here, right? Again, if we held it, it would have played out. But I had the confidence of if we end up reacting off of this 5-minute fair value gap and we show that we're going to continue to the downside, I'm going to re-enter this trade and target my London session lows down below / this hourly low and go from there. Okay? So I end up exiting this trade right here. Okay? I'm predicting based off of, all right, what I'm thinking and stuff like that. I think we have the potential to continue higher, maybe come up, take out New York session highs. It's showing it now, right? But in the moment, we came into this 5-minute fair value gap. I decided to look for my re-entry to the downside, right? But if we end up inversing this 5-minute gap and we continue higher, then I would have saved money on the day, right? But we can see if we scale down to the 1-minute time frame, we're in a 5-minute fair value gap, right? What do? This 949 high, what does it do? ES ends up taking it out, so we form a high and a higher high on ES, forming our SMT, right? This is showing me confirmation out of a 5-minute fair value gap that we want to continue lower, right? So I'm like, okay, let's see if we can get a re-entry to come down and go lower, and you can watch the live session for that. We come out of the fair value gap, we form a 1-minute SMT, boom, one confirmation. What do I want to see? Inverse fair value gap, break of structure. What do we get here? We get an inverse fair value gap. Right here, right? I'll mark this 1-minute bullish on NQ. We get an inverse fair value gap. What do I usually wait for? A break of structure to the downside to show me that we want to continue in the down direction. You could have entered off the inverse fair value gap here, but I wanted to be comfortable waiting for the break of structure. We get our break of structure. I put my stop above this high right here in the 5-minute fair value gap because that should be a protected high, and I wanted to target a 1 to 2 risk to reward on this trade, okay? I ended up moving my stop loss down above this high, which would have been the 1 to 2, as we could see where my final take profit was. I was targeting New York session lows at first, but just seeing how price action was, we ended up sweeping this hourly low, which was my break even, right? But I saw how price wanted to just continue higher. It looked like if it really wanted to flush down and fill in this gap, we probably would have moved very quickly, right? But we didn't. I started seeing potential to continue to the upside. So what did I do? My original stop was here. Price comes up. We end up respecting this 5-minute again. We come down. I move my stop loss above this high until we hit our break-even level. We hit our break-even level here. I'm seeing, hey, price comes back up into this 1 minute. It didn't want to continue down, right? I had my original stop loss at this London session low down here at first. Excuse me. Let's see if this will grab it. Down here at first, right? But I ended up moving it up because we respected this 1-minute fair value gap, and we could see that price decided to continue down, but it didn't follow through to London session lows. It continued up one more time. I decided to put my stop loss right here, to just secure profits. We got tagged on this move, and I'm letting my runner run to this London session lows / this 1 to 2 risk to reward, right? I end up trailing my stop loss. I was manually trailing it. It was here at first. Then I put it above this fair value gap around 94. You could see in the live session. Ended up getting stopped out on our trailing drawdown, but saving us money if we kept it at break even. Okay? I really trusted my draws today. I let the trade run. I trusted in my trade. I trusted who I was in the trader. I re-entered the trade because I believed in the trade. But originally, maybe I should have held this first trade. But I did exit the trade off of data, which was a 5-minute SMT off of a 5-minute low. We broke structure on the 1-minute time frame after that 5-minute SMT was formed, right? We broke structure to the upside. We didn't break structure back to the downside. We end up respecting bullish confirmation, but then we come into this 5-minute disrespecting bullish, and I was like, okay, we're probably going to get a re-entry. We'll re-enter, and we'll target these London session lows because we had equal lows on ES, and I really thought those were going to get hit, but again, the market's going to do whatever the fuck it wants at the end of the day, correct? So regardless, I think I did a good job today. Going back and looking at it, we prevented a couple losses. Again, our first entry was perfect, but getting that 5-minute SMT to the upside while ES is still bullish on the 5-minute time frame, right? I feel like we're in no man's land when both markets are not correlated with each other. We were overall correct, but again, I really wanted to see that break structure to the downside in the 5-minute first on ES, and then once we saw that we were respecting this 5-minute gap on NASDAQ, I assumed that we were going to get that break of structure, which we did, but we just didn't get that follow through to the London session lows down below. And I truly believe, because if we go to the 4-hour time frame, we're just trading in this range after this war news, right? We're just trading in this overall 600-point range or whatever it is, 300-point range. We're not doing much here, right? If you look at these higher time frame candle closures, I don't like price action here. If this was on the 1-minute or the 5-minute time frame, I wouldn't trade it. But we got an opportunity today. We managed it really well. We trusted the trade. We let it run. We weren't greedy. right? We targeted a 1 to 2 risk to reward. It just didn't play out. I mean, the first trade would have played out as a 1 to 2 risk to reward if we stuck with it. But I think I personally did the right thing by exiting the trade where I did. And we could have targeted this hourly low, which again, if it was at the original high, it would have been a 1 to 2.7. So it wouldn't have been a 1 to 2. But if we had it at the high where we moved our stop loss down, then it would have been a 1 to 2.25. But didn't happen, right? We thought we did the right thing. I personally think we did the right thing because we had a 5-minute SMT while ES is still bullish on the 5-minute time frame. Hey, price could have continued higher. Who knows if NASDAQ's the right direction of where the market's going to go, which it kind of was today, but now we're continuing higher and we didn't get that full follow through. And I truly believe that's because we're trading in this range because of this war news, in this giant 1,000-point wick. I feel like that's what happens, and everybody's just waiting to see what happens with this war. And then, again, we're just going to take advantage of the opportunities we get and not complain about price action. We did our job today. We secured profit. We let the trade run. We did our thing. We trusted the trade. And that's all we could do. So, again, excuse me. Jesus, I'm running out of talking. That's pretty much it for the day. That's my trade recap. I'll probably go back and watch this. I already journaled for today. But, again, the macro time frame is what saved us today off of this entry and also waiting for our confirmation, right? Sometimes trades like this are going to play out and you're going to miss out on the opportunity. But usually when we sweep a higher time frame, drawing liquidity, 4-hour, hourly, session high or low, previous day high or low, daily, weekly, I like to get onto the 5-minute time frame first and wait for our 5-minute change of the state, break structure, whatever you call it, and then go from there. So regardless, not a big day, right? It says 14 trades for what I've taken, but I was on my account to 7, right? So we took 2 trades today. Break even and a dub. Could have been a bigger day, but it didn't happen, didn't follow through. And that's all we do. And holy crap, look at this candle right now. Holy crap. How many point candle is that? 100-point candle. Dude, this stuff's insane. This market right now is tricky, right? If you're just starting off in trading and you're trying to trade with this stuff, it is tricky. But again,
YouTube, we are live.
Sorry. All right, but I'm going to cut it now. All right, this is for the Discord. Again, I'm not going to edit this or anything. This is just me speaking my mind and what I did today, and that's really it. Holy crap, look at this. There had to be a tweet about something. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, peace out. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully you enjoy it. Again, I'm being honest and everything like that. I showed my entries and everything in the Discord. That's pretty much all we could do. All right, peace out.